Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to our Friday edition video. As we are back on track with Friday, Saturday upgrade commander build videos. So today we're going to be featuring the Tier 7 Spanish heavy cruiser. Probably going to pronounce this wrong, but I'm going to go for it. The Asturias. It's what I'm seeing when I read the name, but perhaps I'm wrong. Anywho, to talk about this ship today, I'm going to be featuring this battle to you today. Tomorrow we'll do an upgrade commander build video on the ship, so I can give you my thoughts. We'll look more at the ship's armor scheme, modules, upgrades, commander skills, and so forth. I had two battles to pick from. One was I had a sub encounter and an encounter with a tier 7 talent battleship at the start of the battle, and then nothing else happens until the end of the battle when I kill enemy CV. So as tempting as that was, there was not a lot of happening in that battle. So I felt this one was a bit better because it showcases more of the strengths and weaknesses of the ship overall. So this is a heavy cruiser. So the way the WoW's wiki reads on this ship is that it ties between the fascist regime in Italy and the Francios strengthened after the later claimed victory in the Spanish Civil War. These ties also manifest themselves in the field of naval construction. Spain planned to get to grips with the latest achievements in Italian shipbuilding in an effort to strengthen its fleet. Italian company Ansaldo furnished Spain with 3 projects for a heavy cruiser that differed from each other in their composition of their armament. One of the options also included the 4 2 and 3 millimeter twin gun mounts, which is the ship that you have here today. What makes this ship line rather interesting is one is her high number of consumables, but also that she has access to the burst fire consumable, which you're seeing at the bottom of the screen there, being the F key. It can alternate between regular fire and burst fire firing mode. Firing the guns with the alternative firing mode enabled will fire 2 salvos in quick successions. This firing mode takes much longer to reload. Burst fire can be toggled on and off at will. Reload time 32 seconds. Interval between individual shots 2 seconds. Number of bursts in a series 2. So effectively you're getting 16 shots in the air within 2 seconds. Here we have to do a strategic Natsuri. We do take Colorado's guns seriously, so I'd rather just go ahead and ground and take a little bit more time to get into the battle. So we're here in a domination mode. So 3 caps. Enemy team has control of Bravo. Our team is currently contesting both A and C, so we will have to see how that unfolds with our Huron taking some hits there south of A. So we're going to step on the cap and hopefully help the cap. Here we have a submarine who also help us cap, as unfortunately our Huron goes down to torpedoes at the same time as our Akatsuki goes down, and also our Arp Miyoko takes out the Nicholas. So this battle is not going to be too favorable for us, but regardless, we will talk about how the battle unfolds. So one of the things, in addition to that burst fire mode I referenced, is her number of consumables, right? So you have air strike based depth charges, you have your damage control party, you have a repair party for a tier 7 cruiser. Not many of the tier 7 cruisers in the game give access to repair party, but you only get 2. You also get access to spotter plane, and you get access to the hydroacoustic search. So really good things happen there. Now you can switch to hydroacoustic search out for defensive AA for 3 charges, or you can switch out the spotting aircraft for the catapult fighter for 3 charges. So we've taken Alpha. Our team's currently flipping Bravo, and enemy team is taking over C. So basically we have this submarine. We have destroyer ahead of us, so we're trying to be mindful. I'm not trying to rush ahead here. I'm really wanting our friendly submarine. It'd be more ideal if he could push ahead, since he has the better concealment here. So I'm not sure if that enemy destroyer is still somewhere in the area or not, or the whereabouts of the submarine. All we do know is we're detected, so I wait till we get a little more progress through the cap before I pop that hydroacoustic search, which has a 4 kilometer search radius on it. Now, in terms of the armaments, the armor piercing is pretty good. You have relatively flat shell ballistics with this, so you can see we're utilizing it here against the enemy Tier 5 British battleship, battlecruiser, Tiger, as I talk about how it's good, and then we just get nothing but non-penetrations and stuff. So, you know, a little bit more of a broadside, but then he goes down to our Nagato. So yeah, you have armor piercing, you have the high explosive. The fire chance on the high explosive, which I was just wondering about, is a 15% chance, so not too bad for a tier 7. And then you have upgrades on the ship for the hull. You go from 37,200 hit points to 39,600 hit points. If you do take, of course, take the survivability expert, you'll get a larger, more robust hit point pool. And your maximum gunfire range does also increase, although it's not telling me here in the WoW's wiki what the upgraded ranges or what your stock range is, excuse me, but the upgraded should be that 15.7, which you're seeing here on the screen, which is good range for a tier 7 cruiser. So teams having a little bit of issues, so we've lost Bravo, or we weren't able to successfully take it. We have this submarine here, which we're wanting to take out, but then notice this destroyer is getting away. We really want him killed, and here's an example of the burst fire coming in handy. So he's grounded, so we're going to pop 2 salvos off. We want to make sure he goes down. This battle is going to be turning into trying to finish off low health targets for our team. They're having a bit of a challenge in finishing the kills, so that we're going to be stepping in to help with that. It's going to help us with the points as well in getting those kills. And we have this one destroyer who is definitely targeting us as we avoid those torpedoes as we want to turn in. Also, you know, with Colorado's larger guns, 16-inch guns, if I'm not mistaken, we do not want to. We don't want to run into those. We like to avoid those as much as possible. One of the greater weaknesses of the ship is the poor armor scheme. You can think you're angled enough away from enemy ships, and you still get citadeled. Particularly that this ship plays more of a long-range style better. She can brawl, right? She's got the torpedoes. Now, the game, WoW's wiki was referencing the torpedoes as being like really short range, but they're 8-kilometer torpedoes at tier 7. So if I would take a short range more as a 6 or 4 kilometer, 8 kilometer is not bad. It gives you some flexibility there. So you do have these torpedoes. They hit for 15,866 damage with 61 knot speed, 106 second reload time. So if you have adrenaline rush, you know, you could be looking more closer to that 100-second range. So that's really good to have. The other thing we need to have to talk about the guns in particular, as you're seeing here on the screen, is that our reload time is just over 13 seconds. I believe it is. We'll see here on the screen. Yeah, I think we're just it's about roughly 13. This is not bad, so you have some time in between shots to pick out your targets and who you're focusing on. Now we're trying to focus this Devonshire. I'm going to struggle a little bit here that I should have been leading him more ahead. I'm trying to finish him off before he gets in behind the island there, up to the north. So actually what we're going to do here is we're going to switch to the burst fire again, because we're going to lose our target on him. It looked like he was kind of slowing down, turning out there. So we'll see how these salvos land as we have the CV at play too. Unfortunately, we get a lot of overpins, and it doesn't finish him off. So we're not going to be able to convert that kill. So we have to leave that to the other teammates, so maybe our CV can step in there and get that kill. Good thing is, even though things are definitely not looking good for our team, 4 versus 8 right now, we do have most all of our hit points. So we'll have to see how that unfolds as the battle continues. Now I switched to the high explosive here. It would have been better to have the high explosive for the bow and fusel. Our CV does take out the Devonshire, which is great. Here you can see the CVs running away. Or sorry, the submarines running away. So we're actually going to burst fire. Again, we're trying to convert the kills here. I don't want the sub to get away and go under, because he has some dive capacity left. So we do pick him off. What I like about the burst fire is the typical ways I think of using it is on low health targets that you need to get the kill. Or you have in the case that Devonshire is about to go in behind the island, you know, let's use the burst fire. And the other is maybe you're about to go behind an island and you want to get that extra salvo in. So those are the three immediate scenarios where I like the burst fire coming in here. As unfortunate, our CV was not paying attention to the minimap, and he has since died to the Fuso, with the Fuso's range, as the New Orleans and DD up here to the north have pushed in. So now I noticed on the minimap that Seraph did get a strike force off, and so he's going to be coming back, meaning he's going to be spotting that Shiratsuyu. So I definitely wanted to get that kill on the Shiratsuyu, so I was focused on maybe picking up Colorado. But seeing our CV going to provide us some valuable spotting is going to really help us out here. Now, this is where I make a mistake. I definitely could kind of critique myself here. I decide that let's kite the New Orleans. Let's kind of just angle out here, as I did take a pretty decent salvo from him just beforehand. And I decide to kite because he's kind of bow into me, but I make a mistake. I should have gone... I should have probably just pushed him here. The reason I didn't push is because I saw that the Fuso, he seems to be competent at thinking and breathing at the same time, that he took advantage of the Surov's broadside as he was running away from the Shiratsuyu in New Orleans. So my fear is if I pushed bow in on the New Orleans, that he might take that broadside shot at me, because your armor scheme is really poor. It's probably one of the strengths. I want to say best weaknesses, and I phrase that. One of the worst things about this ship is her armor scheme. So I could easily get dove striked by the Fuso, okay? But the Fuso has a sub, and he has a battleship bow in to deal with him. So probably may have been okay to push that New Orleans earlier, and now you see making the choice to push in on the New Orleans, and I'm going to be paying attention to the priority target. New Orleans is going to go behind the island. He wants to disengage. It's actually good for him to disengage, so I had high explosive loaded, not enough time to switch. I think we took another little Citadel hit there. So we're going to get a fire set and some more damage. Meantime, Renegado is just about to go down. He's not doing well. Our sub has been playing questionable throughout pretty much the entirety of the game. So that's 3 kills for us, and we don't know how things are going to go. Well, I mean, I know how things are going to go. But what is it looking like? Okay, our sub is pushing in. He doesn't have too much dive capacity left. So it's not good for him. I want to see if I can draw some attention off the sub. Maybe Fuso takes some shots at me. I'd rather try to be a distraction. I've got some hit points, of course, still remaining. We have another access to repair party. But now we're going to also attract the attention of the CV as he's trying to get around. He's dropped fighters on the cap to help spot maybe the sub for the Fuso. And you can see that New Orleans is taking some shots on the sub. I guess he's detecting them and thinks he's somewhere in the area. But the Wesser is going to get our broadside. So there's a little bit of damage there, not terrible. And then now the New Orleans is utilizing the island coverage. We're going to use the damage control party and use our last repair party. Now that the Fuso is fired, I'm going to turn out broadside here. And I'm actually going to set up for the New Orleans. So I've switched to AP. New Orleans is just over there behind the island, and I'm going to pop my spotter plane here. I'm going to be cheeky. New Orleans is hiding behind the island. If he fires, I think my spotter plane will pick him up. So I'm going to present this broadside target, making New Orleans kind of think that I'm a pretty presentable target. And our sub goes down, but we do pick off the New Orleans. So we do get that kill there, because we wouldn't be able to live much longer. If New Orleans was alive, we would have died much more quickly. So we're going to be on fire. We lost our torpedo tubes on that side, and our engine has been incapacitated, so we're going to be kind of coasting here for a little bit. So now it's a 1v3 versus the 4v8 we had. So now the goal is to see if we can't set fires on the Fuso. We have no repair parties left, so I'm not really seeing us coming out on top here in this battle. But the Fuso is powering through the fire with a heal, which is unfortunate. I'm going to turn out away from the CV strike. So tomorrow we'll talk more about that armor. We'll look at it a bit more closely. You do have a really good speed in this ship. The other things I guess I would point out is poor is that you have this long rudder shift time, large steering circle, below average AA and rather poor concealment. But the guns pretty well on the ship overall. Your torpedoes, you have that good reload speed, you have really good overall speed, and the fact that as a tier 7 cruiser you have access to the repair party. So almost 80,000 damage with 4 kills, some plane shot down ribbons as well. Top of the team on the loss, 1,216 base XP. Our Nagato did really well. Graph speed did good as well in there. But unfortunately, you can see that Fuso was a good player. He topped the enemy team. So we took 52,900 damage. We even had some spotting damage in there as well. So yeah, just how it goes sometimes. So not always going to necessarily, I guess, cherry pick per se and picking out the win battles. Because there are things you can learn. I can learn from myself in highlighting these battles that went well for me, but still a loss. But I think it would have helped us out much earlier if I would just went ahead and decided to take the chance to go bow in on the New Orleans. But the Fuso showed that he was a very good player. So I respected that, right? He was a threat. And if I push across broadside, they get the New Orleans and run up on him with torpedoes. So it is what it is. So tomorrow we'll do an upgrade commander build video here on the Asturias. So if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time. Take care.